CIO News. I'm Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and a contributing editor at CIO News. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website, which is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. This is an exclusive fireside chat powered by Avaya on transformation through customer experience. Businesses are built by the experiences they provide, and every day, millions of those experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is changing what's next for the future, as well as the innovation and partnership that deliver game-changing business benefits. Let me dive in introducing our guest for today. He is Kuljit Hooda, Vice President and Chief Information Security Officer at Xceedance Consulting India Private Limited. Kuljit has 26 years of rich experience in the areas of IT architecture, design, IT security, data privacy, IT audit, global IT compliance, project management, and people management. Kuljit is a great planner with proven track record of delivering value to any organization by effective strategy planning, leading new initiatives for startups and projects throughout his journey. Welcome, Kuljit.
Thank you, Khushbu. Nice to be with you and on CI News.
Pleasure's all ours, Kuljit. Great. Today, our moderator is Saurabh Lakhanpal. He's a domain specialist at Avaya, and he's been specifically, handling the Avaya customer experience solution. He's an avid CX advocate and has 12 years of experience in providing contact center and workforce optimization solutions. He has worked in roles like pre-sales, solution consulting, sales specialist across leading global organizations. Saurabh has deep understanding of Avaya's contact center and workforce engagement solution and how these solutions are basically utilized for enrichment of customer experience. Welcome, Saurabh.
Thanks, Khushbu, and welcome, Mr. Kuljit.
Thanks, Saurabh. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, thanks, Kuljit, for joining the session today. And to start the discussion, we'll talk about the security field today. How does it pan out in your industry in general? And if you look at insiders such as employees, partners, or customers, they're routinely at the center of the costly data breaches, which happens, right? And I was reading a report on the cost of insider threats, and one of the things that strike me was the root cause of most of the incidents was a negligent insider. And out of almost 5,000 incidents which were reported, two-thirds were because of the negligent insider itself. And this number has significantly increased, I guess, during the pandemic. And with this report numbers coming up and they're talking for itself, we all understand it's the data breach should be at the priority, with work at home model as well. Now, you mentioned offline that from last year March onwards you guys are working from home. So, how do you place the data security breach due to the work from home model in your priority list? Are you working on that, or is that something you're not working as of now?
Okay, I would just like to re-emphasize that, okay, you're on target that, okay, there are only negligent things which are contributing to the breaches. I can give the recent example of a couple of weeks back. Everybody has heard about Colonial Pipeline attack, ransomware attack. It came to know that, okay, the reason for that was a compromised password. And for that user, the MFA was disabled. I failed to understand what was the reason behind that. And why do we share still the same password which we use for our personal usage in office? So these are the, you can say, things which always we should take care in the first instance itself. People say that, okay, you have solutions, that this solution, that solution. What I say is, if your basics are right, which include your patching, MFAs and everything, then you are 95% sorted out. And in work from home scenarios as well, Same holds true. If you have your MFA in place, if you have your security patches in place, if you have passwords, etc., or user enabling, disabling everything in place, your tools are regularly fine tuned based on the threats, you are well placed. And yes, we are working from home, and no incident you can say till now, touchwood, has taken place, and that is because we made it sure that none of the account will be treated as an exception for MFA. Yes, there are stories about the compromise in MFA. Those are not false also, but at least somebody, when they target you, then it's something different story. But for general security purpose, the basics are right, then you should be saved. That's what my motto is, that keep your basics right, because every other day things will come up, the new tool will come up. But the same they want to implement is that basics should be right, only then they are beneficial. Otherwise, you can have the tool, they are not being attended to properly, and they're just kind of a showpiece in your on your table, I'd say. That's what my initial thoughts are there.
Right, and technology itself cannot solve everything. It's, what the rightly said, by you, the basics has to be correct, then only technology will help. And good to hear that, in the overall lockdown you have not had any incidents as such. Congratulations on that. My next question is around the brand value, that is there now. Brand value is very much impacted by if any breach happens, and it goes out in the media, and so how would you say that people should prioritize it, in terms of the brand value or the penalties that occur out of it. Now those penalties could be the government imposed penalties, or from a customer losing perspective, so those penalties. So how do you see that in the priority list?
I see that okay, penalties are just to show that okay, you should do your business in a right way. Otherwise, we can see the example of Cambridge Analytica. The company itself got shut down. So I'm not sure what kind of a reputation or financial loss can help in that scenario, because company itself was not able to sustain.
Mhm.
So let us not fear from the penalties. We should see that okay, we are abiding by the best practices, how we should do the business, how we should collect the data, how we should kind of secure it, and how we should dispose it. And in between, how we are using that, whether we are transparent in that scenarios or not. So this is just helping you out in doing the business in right way. But we should care about the reputation loss, financial loss, or whatever loss we can say mention it. But ultimately, everything is just to make sure our business should run in a more dignified way or more proper way, I'd say.
Mhm. And with technology on the boom, in almost every field, I am seeing AI adoption, right? How do you see, algorithms from, AI algorithms basically bridging the gap in the security domain?
Uh, I will say it is just an kind of maybe the new block in security terms. Yes, in IT we are doing it long time back, but in security you do not know whether it's false or true. So somebody has to step in and see that okay, the last stage in like in your source solution, like those things, event can be triggered or incident can be triggered. Then you need to see with your automated tools, AI, that okay, whether that's fit into my environment or not, whether it's affect my environment or not, whether the rule is there or not right now, whether the threat was or the impact was there or not. And then I'll see that okay, whether I should block it, I should quarantine it, how the action should be taken. So till the last point, we can use AI, and we are using AI in the systems. But last step, still people are maintaining with them, and that's true always, because AI can't be, no technology can be 100% true or foolproof, I
Exactly.
say. So we have to have our say last stage in our control. But yes, it has helped every industry, and same way it has helped security domain also. And it's kind of a fine tuning itself, and let's see how it goes.
Mhm. And since we are, we talked about the lockdown and the work from home model. Now, with the work from home model, the usage of smart devices also is on the rise, right? Now, one in office, people would generally use their laptop only to work, right? But at homes, they might use their own mobile devices as well. Might maybe a tablet device or a mobile phone device to access some of the resources. Now, how do you see data security being deployed to contain these kind of breaches, if any, that's happened due to the mobile devices?
So there are multiple strategies depend on what kind of a device you have. For example, if you are having the officially provided laptops, then the tools will be different. In case we allow, for example, a personal device to be used, then the access would be different. Like if you are using your personal device, then we can deploy like your general, say, whatever solution you have architecture. I'm not going to deep into that what solution is to implemented. But in case you are using your personal device, then ideally that should be through the VDI or that kind of infrastructure where nothing reside on the endpoint, and only with the tools which sanitize or check the status of the device, then only it should allow you to access the corporate resources. That's what we do. And otherwise, if you allow the personal devices without say proper controls, then you know that people are playing games. We have a habit of doing yes to everything in our life, in especially in internet or banking solution, I'll say. So whatever comes to say agree, I say agree, because otherwise it won't allow to go ahead. Hardly any I've seen any person seeing the reading the terms and conditions. So that's how the devices are compromised, and that's how we protect our, say, official devices, maybe through web security or our say ADR tools or whatever tools are there to protect those things. So different solutions for different kind of environment or different kind of endpoints, I'll say.
All right. And specifically from your data, your organization perspective, you're doing back office work for the insurance industry, basically underwriting the insurances and other things, right? Now, your employees would be handling the sensitive information or sensitive customer data as well, the PII data, or other the financial related data as well. Now, working from home, right, using those smart devices, or even if they're working on the laptop or the desktop itself, they can take a picture, right, through the mobile device. I can take a picture and then copy it across and use it. So how are you working to mitigate that kind of data security breach? Have you seen those kind of concerns coming in, or not yet?
No, being in the global role, I can say for last, say, roughly 10, 20, 10 years old, I'll say. I have seen these concerns, and earlier, for example, I was in the medical industry also. So there also these kind of concerns come into picture, but there is trust also you should do on your employees, first of all, your teammates, I'll say, because you can't get into their homes and record everything. That's also a problem. You should do things to certain extent. That's my personal view.
Mhm.
And you should not encroach their houses, because anybody can come to the screen, and yes, solutions are there. We have done the POCs and everything, they really work, but only it kind of a discomfort for the our teammate, I'll say. So those kind of things are there. But yes, for say critical data, we try to work from directly from the client server itself, so through provided through their environment, or we have our solution so that people doesn't have anything on the endpoint. That
Correct.
saves, yes, clicking a photo can be done from anywhere, anybody can do it. So it's not that okay, but our concern is that okay, bulk of data should not be compromised,
Mhm.
and none of the, say, regulation will kind of punish you for a bit of data, maybe 10 records, 2 records, until unless it is something kind of a bulk. And we are right now talking about millions of breach every time. So ideally we should avoid those things. But yes, people also, the ultimate, I think, solution which I see is educating the end user.
Right.
That's
So
what I do. That's what I do.
as we started with that only, that the negligent insiders are the cause of major data breaches. I think we are coming to that only, right? And from a any security solution perspective, now it may be in a work from home environment or in your office environment itself. Now, many people see it as a cost, right? That it's a cost, but in the long run, my personal belief is, these security solutions actually pay for itself. Uh, what do you think about it? Do they actually pay for itself, or it's kind of an overhead on the organizations to, have the compliances in place?
Okay, again, this colonial pipeline things come to my mind again and again, because recent one. Otherwise, there are a lot of other attacks are there. Do you think that okay, any solution can compensate for a weak downtime for colonial pipelines?
No, I don't. That's what I said. My
Always.
personal belief, my personal belief, they do pay for itself.
They pay it multiple times than their costing, but
Yeah.
only if they are implemented properly, I'll say. If you
Yeah.
just want to have the tools just for the compliance checklist, I think we should avoid the implementation in that scenario. But if you want to implement it properly, then only you should buy it. People always will pitch you solutions which are yes, fancies and looking like great, but if you don't have the manpower to implement those things or track those things, then there is no point in having that. And then in that scenario, yes, there will be kind of a costing criteria. But if you can prove to yourself, I'll say, as a security head of the company, that okay, these tools are adding value, then nobody will ask you a question. Because once you are satisfied with something, then you can very well tell the benefits of that to the management, to the superiors, you can say, or to the board. And nobody does a question nowadays. I'm not sure anybody question if you have your priorities right.
Exactly. Thanks, Kuljit, for candidly answer all the questions that I had. That was the last question that I had. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for moderating the whole session. Thank you so much, Kuljit, for coming today and sharing your insights. I'm pretty sure all our CISO viewers are going to have a lot of insights from this session. So thank you so much for joining today, and it's a pleasure to host you.
Thank you, Khushbu and Saurabh. My pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.